Wilson, A Modern Fairy Story. A Modern Fairy Story, Gary Wilson.
Once upon a time, my young friends, there was a land called Was. And the people in that land were known as Bread. And many of those people joined local clubs called Toasters Clubs, designed to enhance bread people, to make them more attractive, warm and fluffy. In one of those clubs, there was an older and wiser couple. He was called Waffle, because he did that. And he was also rather crusty. And she was called Crumpet, because she was warm and caring. And one day in a topic, a toaster said that people should not work past the age of 65, because that kept young people from getting jobs and getting promoted. Waffle and Crumpet heard that message. They decided, yes, they would retire. So they did so. And then at the toasters meeting, the toaster gave a speech with a message. The problem with the economic environment in this country is that there are too many retiring pensioners. These people are bludgers. And they make young people like you pay more taxes, and the problem's only going to get worse with the ageing population. Heard that message, but well, it doesn't apply to us. We've saved and invested enough money in our retirement that we can function as self-funded retirees. Right. But then another toaster spoke. People who are shareholders are bad people. This is because they demand companies make company profits and pay bigger dividends and franking credits. And this pressure on companies causes them to do bad practices, like ripping off customers, overseas outsourcing, damage to the environment. All this is just to satisfy greedy shareholders. And this thing that Waffle and Crumpet said, another toaster came and spoke and said, there is a problem with older people living alone in big family homes. These people are occupying homes that families should be occupying, closer to work and transport for younger people. These people living alone in old family homes, they need to downsize and get out. Waffle and Crumpet heard this and decided, yes, well, we should do this. But they wanted to live in an area where they knew. So they went to a new townhouse, in a whole row of townhouses redevelopment, just around the corner from where they lived, up there in the Oaklands. Then they came to Toasters and someone said, medium density development going on in older suburbs is very bad. It's all the extra people are straining the infrastructure, the schools. It's bad to live in medium density developments in older suburbs. Felt this pressure, and they decided they would move to a retirement village up near a castle on a hill. And then again they went to Toasters, and another toaster started to speak about the health system. The problems with the health system in this country is because of all the old people. They're taking up hospital beds and valuable time of doctors and nurses. It should be devoted to young people. The Medicare system is costing too much because of all these expensive cardiac pacemakers and artificial joints for the elderly. It's causing the cost of the pharmaceutical benefit scheme to blow out. It's putting a burden on all you taxpayers and overstraining the medical system. When they heard all these messages, deep sense of foreboding descended on all the older people in Wales. But then an election was held. But the two major parties in Wales were led by two entities. One was called ScoMo, one was called Albo. And people clamoured for real change, real change. And then an enthusiastic, demagogue, charismatic leader arose to large crowds, addressed large crowds of people all around the country with a single important message. Do we want this country to be great again? Do we want the economic conditions to bloom, the economy to bloom? Yes. We can do this if we get rid of all the elderly. These people are a drain on our nation. Some of them are so old they need carbon dating. We want this country to be great again. We want this country to be great. We want the economy to boom. How do we do it? We get rid of the elderly. Rid of the elderly. Rid of the elderly. All the retirement villages and wards were turned into elimination camps, putting guards on the entrances and putting crematoriums inside. And when someone said, why are Waffle and Crumpet not coming to Toasters meetings anymore? They were told that they had been eliminated in the interests of economic efficiency. And so ends my fairy story. Unfortunately, the land of Oz is mythical. We live in Australia, and that could never happen here, could it? Or could it? The moral of the story is you need to honour your father and your mother, and your grandfather and grandmother if they're still alive, and overall, you need to respect the elderly. Because, you know what? One day, most of you will become elderly too. And when you are, then, like me now, you will suddenly take a different view of all the environmental and economic messages that I've heard spoken about by people on that lectern at Toastmasters.